Thanks, Dan. Hello, Mikel.
Morning, Gary.
Thank you for your time. In the traditional manner, there's always something to talk to you about in terms of injuries, unfortunately, but first of all, I'm going to check on Martin Odegaard. There's lots of news coming out of the club, but not officially yet, about how long he's likely to be out.
It will be weeks. No definite date for his return, but he's evolving well. Very unlucky what's happening with him and his injuries this season. But I think he will be back in a few weeks.
When you say that, that kind of brings into the equation, I guess, what people have been writing and saying, that potentially after the next international break, it could be around that time.
It could be, but we'll have to see how he progresses, how the knee's healing, how he manages after the next steps in his rehab. So too early to give an answer.
From one Martin to another Martin, Zubimendi.
Yeah.
Some eyebrows raised because he was out of training, certainly the initial session that the cameras filmed yesterday, but in his training shoes watching from the side. That's just part of his recovery process.
Yeah, all the players come from different countries, different amounts of games and minutes played, and we believe that it was the right thing to do. He played 2 games again. His load has been really high recently, and he needed an extra day.
But he's available.
He will be available, yes.
And Ben White, similar?
Yes, very similar. I mean, we are monitoring all the players and give a specific menu to each of them to make sure that they are in the best condition.
And some good news, we saw Hincapié out there with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, he will be trained today again with us, and if everything is right, he will be available as well.
Chance for him now to really get some minutes into his legs and become a big part of the group. Yeah,
we really want that. Thomas, that player that is going to help us a lot. He's going to bring something different to the team, and we need to get him going, get to the speed that's necessary to compete at this level, and gradually get into where we want.
Sorry, just 2 more before we move on. Noni, getting close?
Getting closer as well. He's going to start very soon to do some running and stuff, and again, let's see how that reacts.
And how's Kai? Because he's surprised you before about how quickly he can recover from a major injury. Can you expect any similar surprise this time?
Again, very difficult. There's still a lot to do in his rehab. He's really pushing it. We know Kai, and that's why we love him so much. But we have to wait and see. I think we are doing a really good work with him again. He wants to break every timeline, I'm sure, but as well we have to protect him and make sure that when he comes back, he's come back for the long term.
Before the international break, we went top of the table. And during the break, you've gone into the top 10, Mikel, of longest-serving Premier League managers. Another milestone. How do you feel about that?
Well, very privileged and grateful as always, and be present on the day because we know that our job is the only thing that requires.
You've only got another 16 years to go to overtake Arsenal.
Yeah, that's a long way.
Well, it's a target. And a target, I guess, is to do Craven Cottage, a bit of a bogey team, I guess you could say, in recent years there. What you did at Newcastle, where you got a result after a couple of bad trips. The same, hopefully, you hope for at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, that's a good example. What we did at Newcastle or West Ham as well, that in the last 2 seasons as well, we lost against them at home. So that's an opportunity tomorrow. We know that it's a really tough place to go, a very well coached team, and we're going to have to be at our best tomorrow.
But keeping them out is obviously a big part of it, and you've done that well so far this season as a group. That's the best in all the top European leagues in terms of the number of goals you conceded in the first 10 games, all competitions, and the best ever of any Arsenal men's first team since Arsenal came into existence. 3 goals in 10 games.
Well, that's a platform to build performances and results, that's for sure, and we want to consistently be able to defend at that level. In order to do that is as well how well we attack and how committed everybody is to do what we have to do. And if we continue to do that, it's going to give us a big chance to get where we want.
When you are achieving those numbers, that must put confidence into the whole side, particularly that part of the pitch.
Yes, for sure, and as well, I think it tells about the organization of the team and the consistency that we are showing in many aspects. And the more we do those things in a lot of parameters throughout the season, and we establish ourselves in those categories at the highest level, and the bigger the chance will be to achieve what we want, for sure.
A couple more for me. I wanted to ask you about your leadership group. You haven't actually said who's in it, but we kind of know that obviously Bukayo tends to get the armband if he plays, and Martin's out as he is. But there's also Declan, Gabriel, Jury and Timber. Obviously Declan got the England armband, didn't he, this time? What does that say to you about the number of leaders you've got here at Arsenal?
Well, it makes me proud, not only here, but with the national team. And every time I talk to the national team coaches, the way they talk about our players and the roles that they've been given as well in the last few years as well, that tells you the leadership, the accountability, and how much they trust them. And Martin is out, but we have various kind of leaders in the team now that they have the ownership and accountability to deliver what is required. And Martin will continue to have a role, whether he's not playing as well, to push and to support and keep the demands high in the team.
One American ownership group plays another American ownership group on Saturday, and again on Sunday. It's the Conkies versus the Carns. The Rams versus the Jaguars. Will you be watching? And I know you've got a good relationship with Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Do you speak to each other? Can you learn from each other's sports, each other's tactics and style?
I do, and Sean is someone that I admire a lot. Not only for what he has achieved as well, but the way he is as a coach, as a person, the way he presents himself, and I learn a lot of things of him. We'll be connected. It's going to be a really tight schedule for both teams because we have the Champions League after coming up on Tuesday. But it's great to have them. It's great to have Stan and George here as well with us. I think it's a good opportunity as well to connect everybody.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Thanks, Phil. Go to Anita from the Premier League.
Hi, morning, Mikel.
Good morning.
I know it's only match week 8 that we're going into, but we look back at the last few seasons, you had experience of being chased and doing the chasing. Top of the table, which do you prefer?
I prefer to win every game, and the only thing that we can do is to perform really well on Saturday and win the game. As you said, it's super early. It's not the moment to start looking at that. It's much more the moment now to look at performances, to look at ways that we can sustain certain things that we're doing and improve others, and that's the only way. And that increase the chances to when it matters, when it comes to March and April, to be in the best possible position. And then when you ask me that question, I will tell you, for sure, I want to be at the top.
And what is it that you have seen that has been positive from the opening 7 weeks so far?
A lot of things. They've been 2 very different blocks. In the second block, because of some issues that we had to increase our availability in the squad, and that was one of the main things to do. The impact that anybody could have in the game, whether he was playing or finishing, or he wasn't even in the squad. I think we did that really, really well. And then we have evolved a few things that we wanted to be more unpredictable, to threat more the opposition, to be super consistent in all the defensive aspects of the game as well. And we've gone to a different level. And after that, in the next block, can we sustain a lot of those things and increase others? That's the objective.
I imagine during the international break, as well as having a bit of downtime, you were watching some of your players who had great impact for their respective nation. Martinelli, I wanted to ask you about. He's only had 2 starts in the Premier League this season, scored for Brazil during the break. How much pressure is he putting on you to maybe be starting in that left wing position tomorrow even?
He's doing what we expect from everybody to do. It's when he's got the minutes, the opportunity to deliver and to impact the game and especially the results. And then his attitude overall, his behavior, the way he trains, the way he carries himself, his willingness to learn constantly. There are many examples throughout the team, but very pleased to see Gabi going to the national team again and scoring and performing well. That's all good signs because when they come back, the spirit is good, their confidence is good, so everything is easier. Thank you.
Guys, we'll try to get to everyone. There's quite a lot of people here today, so we can keep it to a couple each. So, Alex from the BBC.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Declan Rice said on England's duty that you've slightly changed his role this season, giving him some more freedom. Can you speak to us about how that change has been and how happy you are, how he's partnered up with Martin and Zubimendi?
Yeah, I think he's adapting to the qualities that we have, and as well certain chemistries, a certain relationship that you notice, and with 8 new players in the squad, different things emerge, and just trying to maximize his qualities in relation to others to give the team the best capacity to perform.
Before the international break, it was a bit of a tough time for Viktor Gyokeres. Hasn't scored in 6 games. I know you're appreciative of the work that he was doing for his teammates. He didn't score for Sweden in the 2 matches. Do you have to pick him up at this point to lift his confidence, or do you think he'll be okay?
Yes, but I mean, he brings so much to the team. And watching the games back, I'm very pleased with what he's giving to the team. I told him before the first meeting, I said, the 9 that I want is a 9 that when he doesn't score for 6 or 8 games, he can handle that. If not, you have to go somewhere else, because the pressure is gone, the expectation is going to be there. So if you put the number 9 shirt for Arsenal, you have to be able to say, okay, 6 games, don't score. Am I a different player? I start to act in a different way. I want much more of the same of what he's doing. And yeah, once we have those opportunities, put them. I'm sure it's going to happen.
Tom, Football London?
Hi, Mikel. It was pointed out to me the other day that you have as many senior left-footed outfield players as right-footed outfield players. If they were to play each other, who do you think would win?
What kind of pitch? What size of pitch?
11 aside. You're 10 of each, so 11 aside.
11 aside, I don't know. It's good. It's a really good balance. It's a very rare thing to have, and we have thought about it a lot. But it is a coincidence, certain things, because, for example, our 3 academy graduates, the 3 of them are left-footed. That's quite rare. Already, I have 3 sons. 2 of them are left-footed. Quite rare as well. But yeah, they are beautiful to watch. That's certain, and they give you something different.
And we mentioned the Rams obviously here. We've also seen the Barcelona and Villarreal going to Miami to
Yeah.
La Liga again. Remember Josh speaking at a fans forum a few years ago saying he would guarantee that Arsenal would never play a home game away from North London. Do you see that as Arsenal's future, never playing a competitive home game away from the Emirates?
I don't decide that, so for me to say never, I don't want to use that word. Let's see. There are the people who have to decide. If you tell me what would you like or what you prefer with the schedule that we have, let's play as many games as possible in London, please.
Simon Standard?
Mikel, just on Victor,
Yeah.
talk about his sort of mentality. Is that something when you're scouting a player that you can find out about, and how did you go about that with Victor to know he was someone who could handle the pressure of doing that for us?
Going back in his history as well with Victor, it's a very different one. The beginning and when he wasn't even playing much, and then how he evolved his career. Then in the last year, very difficult to find a gap of that, because I think he scored in every single match almost. But just preparing something, the context is going to change. It's part of football. You see the history of the number 9s. You're going to have moments like that. Hopefully it's through playing, not that you don't even have the option to play and you are injured. So his robustness is something really good. I'm really happy with him. Full confidence, and when you look at him every single day, how much he wants it. That's exactly what you expect.
And obviously on the outside, when you judge a striker, everyone looks at their goals. But when you judge Victor's performance, do you look at different things?
Well, the first thing is that's going to give you something extra. Victor adds so many things that probably are not that noticeable, but as well it creates environment and a space and solutions to a lot of the players around him. And with the talent that we have in the team, I'm sure that everybody, him included, will benefit from that.
Athletic.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned the second block of games earlier, and I think in that block you used a few players quite differently. So Caio played off the left quite a few times, and Martinelli off the right, and there were a few different combinations going on. So I was just wondering what your thinking was with that, and if you were happy with what you saw in those kind of instances.
Yeah, I think having that unpredictability and that flexibility, I think it can add a lot of value. It's true that you need certain consistency as well in certain positions, and not all the players are that naturally confident or comfortable to adapt to a different position, but some of them they did, and they did really well. It's just finding when is the right moment, the right timing in the game to make those changes, and then it has to work.
Is that something you've wanted to do for a while in terms of that kind of
Yeah.
experiment? And what's made you, I guess, confident enough to do it at this point?
When you feel it, you have to feel it, and now they are ready to do, because as well, different positions have different requirements physically, emotionally, in relation to the game plan. You know, you change a player 2 or 3 times in a position in a game. That means that he needs to fulfill 3 roles in all the aspects of the game. That's a lot of information to process to a player, and some players are more confident and more comfortable than others to do that.
James, CBS over here.
Hi Mikel, you mentioned Piero bringing something new to the group. Could you expand on what you're looking forward to seeing from him?
Well, what you're going to see is its aggression, its determination. Is a player that goes full gas to every single action, especially in defending, and with the ball, whether he plays a left centre back or a full back player, that it's very clean on the ball. Again, that it's very someone that really wants to penetrate, whether it's with the ball, his positioning, and it will bring a different character and emotion to the team.
Simon mentioned there about sort of getting a scouting sense of the person as well as the player, and obviously with Piero you have quite a good friend who knows him quite well in Xabi Alonso. What was the sort of did you speak to Xabi about
Yes, I did. Yes, for sure, I had to. I mean, someone like him that I know so well, trust him, and had him for a few years. It's a very, very valuable information to have. He was super complimentary of him for many different reasons, and it was good to confirm what I saw and some of the things that obviously you learn from that conversation that probably you weren't very aware of.
Harry, BBC Radio.
Mikel, it was mentioned a little bit earlier on that Fulham have been a bit of a bogey team recently, particularly at Craven Cottage. How much does that kind of play into your preparation for a game like this? And if it does, is there something specific that you do differently when you come up against a side that maybe in the past you've struggled against?
Well, you always learn from that. It's true that at the end they will have certain new players, the state of the teams, and where we are, it is different to last season as well. And then the game, the context of the game changed, especially last year, immediately when we are in total control of the game, and in one moment we concede the goal, and then it's a different game to be played. But we learn from it. Obviously, we want to make it different, especially the results that we had in the last few years, and do our best to achieve it.
And Mikel Merino was in good goal scoring form again in midweek for Spain. Is that something that you would say he's added to his game a little bit more since arriving at Arsenal? Do you take some credit for his development in the final third?
I think the credit is with him because he had those qualities. I think obviously positioning players and insisting in certain qualities that can really impact and maximize the resources of the team. It's something that we made him aware, basically. And then as well, his mindset. I mean, his play as a right attacking midfielder, left attacking midfielder in different roles as well. And then as a 9. And then he has that. He always had that intuition, that quality to finish action, especially one touch inside the box. And now he's doing it very regularly. And I think he's enjoying it.
Okay, we'll go to Charlie here and then we'll do the last couple in the As Live. So over to Charlie.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned Sean McVay earlier. Is there anything else that you've learned from other coaches in other sports?
Yes, a lot of things, from handball, from rugby, from tennis, from ice hockey. It's a lot. It's and not only from the sport, but the sport played in different countries. So it's not the same rugby here that rugby in Australia. And it's something that fascinates me. It's not only about the sport, it's about the culture, about managing, about managers that they've been in the job for 1 season or 13 seasons. It's a completely different job. So it's always that willingness, I mean, and to learn, that curiosity to learn, is always there.
And with the NFL over here, mentioned before, the owners of both teams taking interest in both games, how important is your relationship with the ownership in achieving our goals?
Well, very much, because at the end, we have to share their vision and especially their ambition. And ambition is very clear. We were here to win major trophies, and every sign that they are giving us, every conversation, that's the main topic. And then they are incredibly experienced in a sport. They win it almost everything, and what we want to do is do it here now.
Okay, last couple, James from ESPN.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Just to go back to Martin Odegaard, can I just ask how he is mentally? Because he's had to deal with a hell of a lot already this season, and I know he, as a captain, he really wants to be front and centre. How is he?
I think he's in a really good place. Obviously disappointed how it happened. The good thing is that he does everything that he possibly can to prevent injuries. The injuries that he had, they are very, very difficult to prevent. So that's something that you weight off yourself, and that's it. And then he cannot afford to be in a different mindset. He's the captain. He needs to drive the standard. He needs to be the example. He needs to bring that energy next to that. So that's it. When you don't have an option, you are a dad. You have to look after your kids. You have to be there. You are good. You are tired. You don't. You have to be there. That's his responsibility in the team.
I mean, you never want to be out without your captain, obviously, but with the squad building you've done over the summer, you must feel in a better place to be able to deal with it.
Yes, for sure. But that doesn't mean that Martin is a capital player for us. He's a very, very, very important for us. We haven't had it almost since the start of the season, like other players, unfortunately. But we are coping because we have strengthened the squad, because we have players with other qualities that they are still performing really well. And that's what we have to do. But make sure that we have him back, because we will be a better team.
Okay, and Phil, PA?
Hi.
Since the last round of fixtures, Arsenal have now been installed as the favourites by the bookmakers to win the Premier League. Do you think that's an accurate representation of how things stand at the moment?
I don't know. Then we have to ask ourselves how accurate it was the one 4 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago. So we don't know. I'm sure a result or two will change that in an even better percentage for us, or worse, depending on what happens. Let's focus on what we can control.
Do you think it's possible to stay at the top to the end of the season, or do you think because of the strength of other teams that the league will change throughout the...
It is possible. If we continue to win a lot of football matches, I'm sure we will be there.
Okay, guys, that finishes the As Live. We'll now go.